In the heart of Georgia, where the Chattahoochee flows, there's a high school proud with a legacy that glows. Baker High School veterans, their names etched in time, fought for freedom, for country, for all that's divine. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, they wore their uniform with pride, left the halls of Baker High to serve, to fight, to abide. We honor your service, your courage and might. From the battlefields of Korea to the deserts of night, Baker High School veterans, we salute you one and all, for answering the call, for standing tall. The Vietnam's jungles to Afghanistan's snow, from Panama streets to Cuba's shore, they face the enemy toe to toe. In Somalia's heat, in Iraq's sand, they stood strong hand in hand. Their sacrifice, their bravery, forever in our land. With honor they march, with glory they stand. We honor your service, your courage and might. From the battlefields of Korea to the deserts of night, Baker High School veterans, we salute you one and all, for answering all, for standing tall. Baker High School veterans, we remember your name, your sacrifice, your service, forever in the flame.
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm Easton Zary. I'm the president of the Baker High School Alumni Association. And here we are with another episode of doing videoing our veterans, our Baker High School veterans. And today we have Sam Jelks, class of 1970. And Sam, we want to thank you for coming, joining us.
Thank you.
Sam, after high school, when you graduated from high school, what made you decide to join the Army?
I can get out of the draft. I enlisted. I tried to get into this warrant officer flight school, and I didn't even come close to it. And I just, trying to keep from getting drafted and get out of combat arms, which is what I qualified for.
I see. Now, you come from a military family also, don't you?
Yeah, my dad, my brother, my brother-in-law, even my sister Jan.
Really?
Well, yeah, she was an Army nurse.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So what year was that you joined the service?
Right out of high school, summer of 70.
Summer of 71?
70.
70. Okay.
Yeah, June
1970.
of 70. Yeah.
To me, 70 seems like such a long time after
Yeah,
me. I feel like an old man.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, so when you got to Fort Gordon, Camp Gordon, it was Fort Gordon at that time.
Yeah.
And I think they've changed the name. I'm not sure of Gordon. But anyway, what was it like? What was your experience when they drove you to Fort Gordon?
Fort Gordon was pretty good. I mean, I went into a technical classes, and it was really nice. I worked with teletype machines and crypto equipment. And then,
But during your basic training,
Uh-huh.
is that what you went to also?
yeah, and I since I enlisted, the recruiter, he got me in with a good group. These were National Guards and reserves, because the building next to us, I mean, man, they were rough. Back during that time, the Army would take people with criminal backgrounds. And they would. You got a choice of going to jail or going in the Army. And yeah, they were always trying to pick fights with us. They were all Hispanic. I guess they were from Puerto Rico. Half of them couldn't even speak English. And they were constantly trying to pick fights with us.
Well, I've heard that story before. Even when I was in the service, the judge gave me a choice: either jail or join the Army.
Really?
And oh yeah, oh absolutely. But you know what? Those guys became great soldiers.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they needed, and that's what we need nowadays. We need a draft system right there. So okay, so you took your basic training and your communication school at Fort Gordon.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Well,
right.
basic was Fort Jackson, and then
Basic was Fort Jackson.
yeah,
What was basic like?
it was great.
Really?
I mean, yeah, I enjoyed basic. Like I said, I got in with a group of they were a good group of people, and had a lot of fun in basic training.
Well, I can't say we had a lot of fun. You must have been in a different army than I was in. When we were in, there was nothing political correct.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of you folks at home can relate to that. So then you went to crypto school in Fort Gordon?
Yeah,
And-
crypto and teletypes.
Yeah. I had a communication, a switchboard operator.
Oh yeah.
And the thing that I still remember from those days, that was testing, 1, 2. Yeah. So from Fort Gordon, where'd you go to?
I went to Heilbronn, Germany,
Oh,
in January of 1971. I went to Heilbronn, and from there I went to. I stayed there for a little while. Then I went to a place called Lingries and Bad Tolls, and then I went up to Kissigan, and then I went to Augsburg. So I moved around.
so you were in Germany quite a bit.
Yeah, I had a great duty assignment.
My dad was stationed in Hanau.
Oh,
It
really?
was Sergeant Major Hanau outside of Frankfurt. And I've been to Frankfurt and Hanau because I was on leave. I went to see my mom and dad. So exactly what was your job in Germany? I mean,
Okay, I started out with a field unit, and then eventually I got fixed station. I went to worked in a communication center. Back then it was the old ticker tape type teletypes, and then moved over into the 3x5 IBM cars where we sent messages, and in the building next to us were a bunch of 5-ton trucks, I think it was, had all kinds of data processing equipment, had key punch machines and sorters and collators and all that stuff, and computers. And so, we pretty much broke starch and shine boots and everything, and everybody thought we were CID. People were scared of us. We had civilians coming in and out of the building, and everybody thought that they were CID and CIA, and some of them actually were, but yeah. So I had a ITS security clearance, like a interim top secret. I could look in that messages and stuff, but I couldn't read them or nothing.
so I've only heard of those type of units when I was in, and I remember we had some radio repairmen, and they were on those units, and I thought, man, I chose the wrong thing. I should have gotten those units. Did you ever get into any serious problem arising, while you were in Germany?
Any serious trouble arising?
Yeah. At that time, it was mostly with the Russians.
Oh, no, nothing like that. Most of our stuff was living in the barracks. We incurred a little bit of racial trouble back during that time. Barracks were full of drugs back during that time.
Okay, you're talking about 1971. I think that's
Yeah.
about the season when the drug scene came along.
Yeah,
In my time, I think it was marijuana starting out,
yeah,
and I had some of my friends. They tried them. They tried to get me to try them too, and I
yeah.
thought I was going to choke when I took one of them. But anyway, so where were you discharged from?
I was discharged from Fort Jackson. Yeah,
And what year was that?
73, summer of 73.
I see. So what did you decide to do after that?
I just bummed around. I did construction work and for a little while, and then the economy got real bad, and I took a job as a nurse's aide at Cobb Hospital. And so I worked there like that about 7 years at different places as a nurse's aide, and then I eventually went to nursing school. And
Now,
I got
Cobb
my-
Hospital
got
is
my-
in Atlanta?
That's was in Phoenix City.
Oh.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
they ran that
that's
place
right.
into the
Yeah,
ground.
I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. So you decided to go to nursing school then?
Yeah, I mean, I seem to have the aptitude for it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Where was that at? Here in Columbus?
I went to Cleveland, Tennessee. Graduated with a little 2-year degree in nursing.
And
got an RN.
do you have a specialty in the nursing field?
No, my instructors told me that my strength was the psychiatric nursing, and so I tried that for a while. I worked at one of the state mental hospitals in Chattanooga. All the patients used to call it the squirrel cage. Yeah.
They call you guys the squirrel cage?
No, they called the hospital
The squirrel cage. Yeah. Talking about I hate to use the word mental, but that's what it was at the hospital, state hospital. I used to belong to an organization, and I was this one year. It was an organization with Sertoma. They had a chapter here in Columbus to Service to Mankind, and the new guy. And we used to go to the I forgot the name of the hospital in Evansville, Indiana. But the new guy, he got to play Santa Claus. And guess what? I was the new guy, and I got to play Santa Claus. And it was an experience. An experience when I have a person older than me acting like a 3-year-old. Oh, Santa, Santa, this is what I want you to bring me. And I was just bomb. I kept a smile, And I remember when we left the hospital, the guys looked at me and said, "Well, what do you think now?" And I remember saying, "I had no idea. We've been so blessed." Say amen. So you got to get. I felt good that I gave to my other people.
Yeah.
So how long were you there?
At the state mental hospital?
Mm-hmm.
I was there about 15 months, something like that. And then I decided to come down here. I went to work out at the state mental hospital out on Chautauqua Road. I worked in the detox center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was interesting. Half the patients in there knew me. And I was the night shift manager on the detox unit. Yeah, I think it was like a 30-bed detox unit. And so, seen a lot of messed up people. I saw so much of it during my time in the Army that I was accustomed to it.
were you surprised at the many people you had as clients or patients?
Not really. But what really surprised me, they were servicing the whole area, and all these people coming from these little bitty tiny towns like LaGrange, Pine Mountain, Cordele, messed up on drugs and alcohol, of course.
I just think I think it's worse now.
Oh.
I think it's worse now with all this drugs coming from across the. And so, where do you retire from?
I retired from East Alabama Medical Center. I worked there for about 10 years. Worked there on a med-surg floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I moved around. I went from psych into medical field, and eventually wound up, out there. It's a 5-star hospital, excellent hospital.
Well, I know that the people you treated there, they think of you. You helped them. You try to help them. There's a lot of people in big trouble, and this got problems in this world.
Yeah.
We've been blessed. We made it this far so far.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you really had a very interesting, stress, life through there.
Well, it was stressful. Working as a RN in a hospital is stressful. People don't want to do that kind of work. That's why they have such a shortage.
Oh.
It was very stressful.
But I have run to some younger people that want to be an RN. I said, well, you have a job for life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had got some friends of mine that have been retired, female nurses, and yeah, they talk about the stress. Some work in the operating room, some work other parts of the hospital.
Yeah.
So I'm sure if I would have gone that route, I would have felt just like you do.
Yeah, that's pretty strong.
Yeah. Well, Sam, I sure thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate. Listen, I know I know that your dad was in the service. It was World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was he? Infantry.
Yeah, it was infantry. I wrote a little book about this is a little personal book that he wrote.
Oh.
About his military experiences. I mainly came here to show some pieces of history. This is, can you see that?
Yeah.
This is September 1944, 3 months after the Normandy invasion. This was the second invasion that the media didn't cover, and neither the history books just barely covered it, maybe a paragraph. This picture on the left here, this one, this is when France was liberated, and they had a parade. That's the 100th Infantry Division there. And then over here on this one, this is Charles de Gaulle, president of the French Resistance, and then General Patch. He was commander of the 7th Army. I just thought those were interesting. And the last one that I really wanted to, my dad was German, and he spoke the language. And so this is a picture. This is called Operation Paperclip. That's when they went in and rounded up all the German rocket scientists and brought them back to the United States. That's a picture of all the German rocket scientists. I don't know if Werner von Braun is in there or not, but anyway, I just thought I'd show that.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I kind of wish I brought some of my dad's right there. Was you there? How long was he in the service?
He did 20 years.
20 years.
20 years, and then 5 years in the Coast Guard before that.
In the Coast Guard.
Yeah. He worked in the shipyard in Baltimore.
Your dad wrote that book?
Yes, sir.
Is it available for people that know?
This is my last copy. And this is mine I wish I could reproduce it. This is a picture. This is in Heilbronn. My dad went through there, and then I went through there in 1971. They had a bad battle there, and the town hall there, they got a memorial of all the German soldiers that were killed in that battle. My dad told me, he said, yeah, I put about half of them names on that wall.
That sounds something like Patton would have said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, Sam, thanks so much.
Yeah,
You know,
thank you.
If you, I, and all of us veterans don't tell our story, you would never know what actually happened in this country. I speak to veterans right now, younger than me, because now I'm the old guy, and I have met some that were in the airborne. And I said, well, do you know what they did in the Second War? Do you know they did this, they did that? And no, we didn't. And by doing what we do here at Baker High School, one thing about Baker High School, we have a bunch of great veterans. We have a Medal of Honor winner.
Yeah.
In the hills of Taman where heroes rise, a Baker High grad gave his final sigh. Skeeter Johnston, a name etched in time for valor and courage, his legacy shines. Oh, Donald Ray, who gave your last breath for brothers by your side in the heat of death. Your heart beats no more, but your story remains, a hero's sacrifice in the flames. Rocket fire rained, enemy at the gate. You stood firm for your comrade's fate. 6 lives saved by a selfless deed, a mortal man's courage in the enemy's creed. Oh, Skeeter, you gave your last breath for brothers by your side in the heat of death. Your heart beats no more, but your story remains, a hero's sacrifice in the flames. Medal of Honor, a symbol of might, but for you, Donald Ray Johnston, it's a bittersweet light. Your family's pride mixed with sorrow's pain, a hero's legacy forever in vain. Columbus remembers Baker High's proud son, a hero's memory forever young. Your name etched in history's page, a shining star in a deadly age. Oh, Skeeter, you gave your last breath for brothers by your side in the heat of death. Your heart beats no more, but your story remains, a hero's sacrifice in the flames. Johnston, your sacrifice will live in the hearts of those you helped to survive. Though you're gone, your bravery stays, a hero's legacy in endless praise. Donald Ray Johnston, your sacrifice will live in the hearts of those you helped to survive. Though you're gone, your bravery stays, a hero's legacy in endless praise.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, you can't say enough for Baker when it comes to the veterans, you know.
You know, part of the reasons that I've showed these pictures and everything, you know, it's like people nowadays, they don't appreciate what they did. I mean, you know, the Europeans were so glad to see us. I mean, they were hanging on by their fingernails. People just nowadays they just don't have any appreciation for anything like this.
Sam, when I was younger, my dad would talk to some of his friends. They were all veterans. They were all in the same unit at one time or another. And they never really knew what a veteran really represented until I got older. Then I realized how special people veterans are. I don't care which service you serve, whether man or woman, you know, they appreciate it. Here in Columbus, I think they appreciate them more. Mm-hmm. But you go to other places, and you could be wearing a hat or any indication when you were a veteran, and you're right, you know, and especially right after Vietnam. Well, you guys are fighting in the wrong war. Y'all were killing babies. Oh boy, that you know,
yeah.
They just don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam, thanks again.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You know,
okay.
Hopefully we'll have a bunch of guys one time. We'll have another what we call chit chat section.
Yeah.
And boy, that's when you hear the stories come out.
Yeah.
You remind somebody of something else, and oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, folks, in closing, I said, you know, we veterans, we're home. But we have some of our soldiers deployed in places where you have no idea where they're deployed at. And they're in harm's way.
That's true.
And you know, they need your prayers. They need your support. They need your support 100%. Us veterans, we've been there. We know what it's like to be supported by our folks home. So say a prayer for them. If you can, if you see a veteran, tell them at least Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. You know, you don't know how much he'll appreciate that. And I know I speak for all veterans for that. So remember the veterans on these holidays.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we were all deployed at one time at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Thank you, folks. See y'all next time.
All right. Thank you.
While friends were cheering, laughing free, in college halls, wild and carefree, I stood watch on distant ground, guarding borders, safeguarding all around. I served for you, for freedom's call, missed holidays, birthdays, one and all. My youth was spent in distant lands, securing dreams with outstretched hands. Time went by like falling leaves, memories remain of distant eves. Now older, weary, battles won, still proud my heart remains reborn. I serve for you, for freedom's call, missed holidays, birthdays, one and all. My youth was spent in distant lands, securing dreams with outstretched hands. If I could turn back time aside, I'd don the uniform side by side. For country, flag, and fellow man, I serve again with grateful hand. I serve for you, for freedom's call. Miss holidays, birthdays, one and all. My youth was spent in distant lands, securing dreams with outstretched hands. I am an American Army veteran. With gratitude my heart still beats for the chance to serve, to give and share a veteran's pride beyond compare.